Welcome to this MOOC on lasers. Today we will take up variation of laser power around threshold. In the last couple of classes, we have seen that threshold is a very important region where a number of changes takes place. When the laser goes from below threshold to above threshold, how the gain profile changes and the hole burning effect and how oscillations takes place in the output before the output intensity stabilizes. Today we will see by actually the discussions earlier were qualitative. So, today we will see actual derivation and see by putting numbers what kind of change in the photon number takes place as we go down from below threshold to above threshold. So, that is the topic, variation of laser power around threshold. So, a very quick recap, we had seen that with the pumping rate how the population inversion changes, the diagram which is here. So, delta n starts from negative when there is no pumping. On the x axis what we have is the pumping rate W p. When the pumping rate is 0, that is when the pump is off, delta n is negative, delta n is the inversion. So, when we say delta n, it is higher level, that is n 2 minus n 1 or n 3 minus n 2, depending on whether it is a 3 level system or a 4 level system, but delta n is negative when there is no pumping. As the pumping rate increases, delta n monotonically increases. It may not be a linear increase, but it monotonically increases and delta n becomes 0 when the pumping rate is W p is equal to W p t, t standing for transparency. It means delta n is equal to 0 means there is neither gain nor loss. When delta n is negative, there is loss, which means the medium is absorbing, and when delta n is positive, then there is gain in the medium, and when delta n is equal to 0, we have neither gain nor loss, or the medium acts as a transparent medium. That is why the pumping rate is called W p t, standing for transparency pumping rate. If we increase W p beyond that, then delta n becomes positive and the medium has gain. Thus, in a laser system, when pump is switched off, delta n is negative, we are here, and when the pump is switched on, delta n is positive. As the pump power increases from 0, delta n goes from negative to positive through delta n is equal to 0, that is this point, delta n is equal to 0 when W p is equal to W p t, and later delta n is equal to delta n threshold. Delta n threshold is the threshold population inversion in a laser corresponding to gain gamma is equal to gamma threshold, the threshold gain coefficient. And we will see in this lecture that as the pumping rate goes over from just below threshold to just above threshold, the photon number build up in the cavity increases by several orders of magnitude. We will actually make this derivation and put numerical values and see that the photon number increases by orders of magnitude as we go from below threshold to above threshold. Thus, threshold, just as its literal meaning, threshold is a critical point in the operation of a laser above which and below which the characteristics are very different. It is just like literal meaning of threshold, that is the point above which the characteristic changes drastically. Okay, let us consider a 4 level laser system. Very quickly we recall that in a 4 level system, from the ground state a pump excites atoms to the upper state here. From there the atoms rapidly come down and accumulate here, provided
3 lifetime of the level 3 is large, and from level 2 here they rapidly go down to the ground state. So, these two, this and this, are fast transitions, very fast transition because the lifetime of those levels, level 4 and level 2, are very small. Therefore, if I have a pump, essentially at any time N4, the number of atoms in level 4, N4, is nearly equal to 0 at any instant, because whatever atom which has been excited to level 4 rapidly comes down to level 3. Similarly, whatever atom which comes down, the number of atoms which come down here, they rapidly go down to the ground state, and therefore, this N2 is also approximately equal to 0. So, N2 is approximately equal to 0. So, essentially there is a population inversion between level 3 and level 2 in a 4 level system. Therefore, we write an equivalent simplified system. We call this pumping rate which is going here. So, W p into N1, which is the pumping rate, R. So, essentially the atoms are pumped from here to level 3, from 1 to 3 through level 4. That is essentially the effect, and therefore, what we have shown is a pumping rate R, which essentially lifts atoms or excites atom from the ground state to level 2 here. Now, we are calling this as level 2. The other two, level 1 and 4, are shown as virtual dotted line, and the atoms are excited and brought to level 3. The level 3 is now shown as level 2. And similarly, whatever is the number of atom which comes here to the original N2 here, the level 2, they go down to the ground state very rapidly. In other words, in the level 2, there are hardly any atoms any time left, and therefore, we write an equivalent, because whatever laser action is taking place, it has 3 participating transitions. This one, which is pumping, and from there it goes down by stimulated emission radiation, that is WL is the rate constant for stimulated emission, and T21. Now, we are calling this as level 1 and 2, and these two are virtual levels. And note that N1 is nearly equal to 0, because atoms which come here rapidly go down to the ground state. So, what is essential is happening here, and that is why we are writing it as an equivalent 2 level system, where there is a pumping rate R and transitions, stimulated emission transition and spontaneous emission transition, which is taking place. Of course, stimulated emission would have also had a upward transition, which is WL into N1, but N1 is 0, and therefore, this upward transition, which is shown here, we see here, this is WL into N3, downward transition, upward transition is WL into N2, and the third transition, if you recall the rate equations that we had studied, T32 into N3. So, this is the transition rates of atoms in the normal 4 level system. So, what we have shown is, because N2 is 0, nearly 0, this upgoing transition is neglected, and we are left with only 2 transitions. They are shown here, WL and T21, and N1 is of course very nearly equal to 0. Therefore, for the simplified equivalent 2 level system, we are calling this as a equivalent 2 level system. At any given time, N1 is nearly equal to 0, which implies absorption between levels 1 and 2 can be neglected. That is what I have been mentioning, that 1 to 2, this absorption is neglected, and therefore, if we write rate equation for this system, then it is dN2 by dt is equal to R minus WL N2 minus T21 N2. R, because it is positive, rate of change of the population of level 2, this is this N2. Now onwards we are looking at only the second system, which is here. We are not looking at the normal 4 level system. So, dN2 by dt, where N2 will get populated and positive, it will increase because of R, it will decrease because of a downward stimulated transition, and it will decrease because of a downward spontaneous emission transition, where WL is equal to, so this is the stimulated emission transition rate per atom at the laser frequency nu. All right. Where U nu in the previous expression here, U nu is the energy density of the radiation at the frequency nu, which means it is, if n is the photon number in the cavity, then NH nu is the energy per unit volume V is the energy density, where n is the number of photons in the cavity. Thus, we have WL is equal to K into N by V. So, here N by V, the H nu, one H nu cancels with one H nu here, the H and one nu cancels here. So, we are left with only nu square in the denominator, and that K is equal to C by N cube into G nu divided by 8 pi T S P into nu square, one H nu has cancelled. So, WL is equal to this, and therefore, we rewrite the equation as delta N2 by dt is equal to R minus K times N by V plus T21 into N2. Now, note that the power output of the laser, because the title of the talk is variation of laser output power with pumping rate as we go from below threshold to above threshold. Note that the laser output power is proportional to the energy inside the laser resonator, because recall the laser resonator here and energy is building up here, and every time a fraction of the energy is coming out depending on the reflectivity R2 of the mirror. So, R1, which is usually close to 100%, and R2 is the output reflectivity of the mirror. So, what I have shown is the resonator here. Therefore, if n is the photon number, steady state photon number in the cavity, then the amount of output is proportional to n. Therefore, the objective of this discussion or talk is to obtain an expression for the photon number n in the cavity. So, in this lecture we will obtain an expression for the photon number n in the cavity. All right. So, the various phenomena which contribute to the photon density inside the cavity. Let us see what are the factors which contribute to the photon density. So, assume that the resonator supports only one cavity mode within the amplifier's bandwidth. This we have discussed in detail in the previous class. So, where we had said that we can always choose a resonator or a medium and a transition such that although this is the G nu spectrum or the gain spectrum. So, this is G nu, we can have only one oscillating mode, longitudinal mode in the laser resonator nu q. For example, FSR could be large. So, if the FSR is large, free spectral range is large. So, let us say this is nu q minus 1, then within the laser transition where this is gamma of nu, where the gain is available, there is only one longitudinal mode, and that is what is mentioned here, that we assume that there is only one cavity mode within the amplifier's bandwidth. And therefore, first component we are looking at various phenomena which contribute. Every stimulated emission gives rise to one photon in the cavity mode, that is we have a stimulated emission taking place, there are large number of atoms. So, every stimulated emission which is coming down here gives rise to one photon h nu, every atom coming down gives rise to one photon h nu to the cavity mode, to this longitudinal, because there is only one mode which is present. Please see that the laser is here and this is the amplifying medium. So, light is going back and forth and building up here, and that is the cavity mode which is building up as it goes back and forth. So, every stimulated emission will contribute one h nu to the cavity mode. That is the meaning of this statement, that is at the laser frequency. Therefore, from equation 2, if we look at this equation 2 here, look at the components. So, this is the stimulated emission component, this is the spontaneous transition component, and this is the pump, and therefore, this is the component that we are discussing. And therefore, from equation 2, dN by dt due to stimulated emission, dN by dt is rate of change of the photon number in the cavity. The photon number would change, as we will see, due to different components, but due to stimulated emission will be equal to dN2 by dt due to stimulated emission, that is the rate of change of atoms coming down from here to here, that is dN2 by dt due to stimulated emission multiplied by V. V is the volume, because this is per unit volume, whereas N, the photon number N is in the entire cavity. N2 by definition is the number of atoms per unit volume. N is the number of photons in the cavity irrespective of the volume, and that is why we have multiplied it by volume. And this term, the stimulated emission term, is k into N by V multiplied by V is k into N into N2. So, that is what is written here, that equal to k into N into N2, equation 3. Now, there can be stimulated absorption also, as in general there is stimulated emission, but these photons can also be absorbed to make an upward transition. The photon which is generated or in the cavity which is present can also lead to this. However, we have assumed that N1 is nearly equal to 0 already, which is in practice true, and therefore, is very small compared to N2, and therefore, there is no stimulated absorption, or the change in photon number per unit time due to absorption is nearly 0. All right, let us see other components. Photons in the cavity are lost due to energy loss in the cavity. Every cavity has a finite loss, and therefore, with the time there is photons which are lost because of the cavity loss. So, that will result in depletion of the number of photons with the time. So, that is given by the dN by dt due to cavity loss. How to calculate this dN by dt due to cavity loss, the third term. So, recall that the energy W of t in a cavity is given by this expression. W0 is the initial energy, Tc is the cavity lifetime, and T is time. E to the power of this is minus T by Tc. So, the minus sign seems to have joined with this. So, it is minus T by Tc. So, here also it is the same, minus T by Tc. The negative minus sign is quite big and it gets combined, minus T by Tc. All right. In terms of photon number, because energy is n into h nu, so energy at any time t is equal to the photon number at that time t multiplied by h nu. So, equivalent expression is given here, n of t into h nu is equal to n 0 into h nu into e to the power of minus t by Tc. N 0 corresponds to the photon number corresponding to the initial energy W 0. and therefore, h nu cancels and we have n of t is equal to n 0 into e to the power minus t by T c. Now, we can differentiate this dn by dt, that is the rate of change of n, is simply equal to minus n by T c. So, equation 4. So, that is the third component contributing to dn by dt. Let us go further. Fourth component, spontaneous emission. Spontaneous emission at the laser frequency would also contribute to the number of photons in the laser cavity. We will discuss this in detail, but here, so if we have the atomic transition which is here, so what I am plotting here is I of nu or I of lambda as a function of nu. So, the intensity, spontaneous emission intensity corresponding to the transition. Laser will be one of the lines. So, the longitudinal mode, if we consider this as nu q, so the laser line will correspond to this frequency nu q. But note that the spontaneous emission comes over this entire band. Spontaneous emission is over the entire band corresponding to the laser transition. So, this is the transition, atomic transition. So, atomic transition. There is a finite width. We have discussed all these in detail earlier, and therefore, although spontaneous emission comes over the entire frequency range, the spontaneous emission which comes exactly at nu q will also contribute to the number of photons in the cavity mode. So, that is the statement here, spontaneous emission at the laser frequency, which means in that particular oscillating mode, mode here refers to this frequency nu q, mode here refers to the longitudinal mode, would also contribute to the number of photons in the laser cavity. Now, the number of photon states, so the number of photon states here or modes between nu and nu plus d nu per unit volume is given by this expression 8 pi nu square by v cube. This is v, this is nu, this is v, v is c by n. If you remember right at the beginning when we discussed Planck's law, we had written that the number of states is 8 pi nu square by c cube. So, c is the velocity. So, here it is v. So, this v is actually c by n. So, this is the number of modes between nu and d nu is this multiplied by d nu. So, that is what is written here 8 pi nu square into d nu by v cube. What is this number of photon states? What is this? These are the intensities which are coming out. So, the photon states at different frequencies, how many such states are there between frequency nu and nu plus d nu, nu and nu plus d nu, and this is given by such a number. If you put typical numbers, you will see that it is approximately 10 to the power of 8 per cc. So, number of photon states means the number between nu and nu plus d nu per unit volume. That is why the name, the density of states. Therefore, the number of spontaneous emissions, this many photon states are possible. Therefore, the number of spontaneous emissions in the frequency range between nu and nu plus d nu per unit volume per second is this much. This expression we have already written when we discussed about the Einstein coefficients in probably lecture number 2. Contribution to the cavity mode due to spontaneous emission. Please see, spontaneous emission comes over all these modes. What is the contribution for this particular mode due to spontaneous emission? And that is given by the rate of spontaneous emission here. This is per unit volume, therefore, multiplied by V. So, this is per unit volume multiplied by V tells us the rate of spontaneous emission, which means the number of spontaneous emissions per unit time, divided by the number of modes multiplied by V, because it is a density of states is 8 pi nu square by V cube or C cube into d nu into V gives us total number of modes in the volume, and VV of course cancels, and what we get is equal to K times N2. N2 comes out and the remaining all of it is nothing but K. This A21 is 1 by TSP, so it will come down, and therefore, you will see this we call as K. This point about the density of states, the number of photon states and the longitudinal mode, oscillating mode, I will just discuss again in this slide. So, please see this density of states for photons. The number of photon states per unit volume between frequencies nu and nu plus d nu is given by this expression. Usually we use rho of nu as the density of states, symbol for density of states. If the active medium is placed inside the laser resonator, so this is the photon states in the active medium or in the amplifying medium. So, this density of states refers to this medium. When the medium is placed inside the resonator, there are longitudinal modes corresponding to the standing waves which are formed inside the resonator, and this frequency we have said is nu q. One particular frequency, we have assumed that there is only one longitudinal mode. If there is only one so these modes are determined by the cavity. The other mode is determined by the medium here. So, this is the density of states in the medium, and the longitudinal modes or cavity modes are determined by the resonator, and the resonator modes are shown here. So, they are shown by a different color. So, you can see that the resonator modes are here, and in between also you have plenty of photon modes. So, allowed modes in the laser medium, allowed modes in the cavity, allowed cavity modes. Therefore, one of the allowed modes will also be corresponding to the cavity mode, and that is why the contribution due to spontaneous emission is very small. We go back, the total number of photons due to spontaneous emission per unit time divided by the number of modes, spontaneous emission modes. That gives us the contribution due to spontaneous emission, which of course we will see later that is very small, because only a small fraction will go into the cavity mode. All right. So, as shown here, only one or two longitudinal modes which lie close to the peak of the G nu curve will start oscillating near the threshold pumping rate, and we have assumed only one particular mode. Okay, we come back. Therefore, the total contribution, now you see we have discussed 4 contributions, one was 0 due to absorption. Therefore, there are 3 terms remaining here. dN by dt total, rate of change of the photon number in the cavity is given by the sum of these 3, and this is the. So, we had seen all the 3 terms, k times N2 here, minus n by Tc here, and k n N2 here, equation 3. So, equation 3, equation 4 and equation 5 added together here to form equation 6. Now, recall, this is the first equation that we wrote. This is for atomic population N2, rate of change of the number of atoms, and this is number of photons in the cavity. So, we have now 2 equations. So, please see that n is the photon number in both the equations, and N2 is the number of atoms. Now, we have 2 equations, so we can easily eliminate N2 for example, because our interest is n, we want to get n, and therefore, we can eliminate N2 using these two equations and obtain an expression for N. So, that is what I will show in the remaining part. So, the rate equation analysis, where we have now rewritten equation 2 and 6 as 7 and 8, it is the same equation, we have just combined the term, you can see this. So, it is the same equation, we have taken k and 2 together and put n plus 1 into k and 2 and this equation. So, we have written k and 2 into n plus 1. Now, at steady state, so this discussion is for steady state, or it is a steady state analysis. dN2 by dt is equal to 0, and similarly dN by dt is 0. At steady state means you have the laser and the laser is giving out a steady output power. So, there is a certain power which is coming out, P out at steady state. So, there is a steady state, there is a pump and the laser is oscillating here and giving out steady state output power. Therefore, it has a certain n, but the n is constant and therefore, dN by dt is equal to 0. Similarly, dN2 by dt is also 0. And then equation 8, if we put this equal to 0, we immediately get N2 is equal to n by n plus 1 into 1 by kTc. Note that n is usually a very large number and therefore, this is approximately equal to 1 by kTc. Using equation 9 in 7, so we put this value of N2, for N2 we substitute from this, then we get an equation which is in n only, small n only. So, substituting in this, so we have this expression. We have now eliminated N2 and we have only n in this expression. Note that all other parameters we know, T21 the transition rate which is inverse of the lifetime, we know this. Pumping rate, we are determining the pumping rate, so we know this, and K is of course a constant, V is volume of the material and Tc is a measurable parameter which is the cavity lifetime. So, we know everything in this to determine n. All right, let us find the solution of this. So, we further simplify this, very simple algebra, all the steps are written here. So, we have simplified this further, you put this equal to 0, multiply the whole expression by this denominator, then we have n square plus n into this term, and so here is, and further you put them together in this form where RT. So, now we have defined RT is equal to T21 by kTc is the threshold pumping rate. Why? We will discuss in the next slide, but now we have put this expression in this particular form and you still have a common T21 V by K here, T21 V by K here. So, if we call that as M, some capital M, then we have the final quadratic equation for the photon number n in terms of the pumping rate R, the threshold pumping rate, and a number, a dimensionless number m, we will see that it is dimensionless. So, we have got the final equation, quadratic equation here. Note that the dimensions of K is volume per second, because if you remember, if you look at this, so yeah, we can see here it is K into N2. So, that is the rate which is just time inverse dN by dt, n is dimensionless photon number dt. So, it is second inverse, therefore, this K N2 is second inverse, but N2 is per cc, because N2 is the number of atoms per unit volume, and therefore, K must have the unit of cc per second. All right, here. So, K is volume per second is the unit. M therefore, is T21 which is second inverse, inverse of lifetime. We are just looking at the dimensions, and V is volume. So, L cube. K is volume per second and is a dimensionless number. And therefore, RT which is equal to T 2 1 by k T c, and 1 by k T c is very nearly equal to N 2 at threshold, and thus has dimensions of L inverse, because N 2 is per unit volume. So, this has dimensions of L minus 3, and therefore, R t is equal to T 2 1 into N 2 is the threshold pumping rate, because 1 by k T c is nearly equal to N 2 at threshold per unit volume. Therefore, we come back to the equation n square plus n into m. So, this is our equation that we have got, and the solution is, it is a simple quadratic equation. So, you can write n is equal to, so here minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4 a c by 2 a. So, we apply the same thing and you have this expression here. Now, let us look at the solutions. So, here is the same expression for n. Now, first case for r is equal to r t. We are taking this case wise because there is r by r t minus 1 terms, and therefore, if we take r is equal to r t, the first term is 0, the second term here is 0. So, what we are left with is only this with a half outside. So, we have equation 11 gives n is equal to m to the power of half. There is a half outside, when it goes inside it becomes 4 in the denominator, 4 cancels, r is equal to r t, that is 1, and therefore, we simply have m to the power half. The photon number is given by n is equal to m to the power of half, or here n is equal to, where m is V t 21 by k. So, the typical values, let us put some typical values. K is in this region, typically if we put values for k, we have an expression for k. If you substitute for typical numbers, we will get k as 10 power minus 6 to 10 power minus 8 volume per cc. I have used volume in terms of cc everywhere, cubic centimeter, and T 21 is 1 over lifetime. Please recall that lifetime, if you take Ruby laser, it is about 3 millisecond. If you take Nd:YAG, this is about 200 microsecond, and therefore, 1 over this is approximately 10 power 3 in this range, and V is the volume of the laser medium. If you take for example, the Nd:YAG rod, so it is about 1 centimeter dia and 10 centimeter here, or maybe 15 centimeter length, and therefore, you can find out the volume. So, the volume is typically in this range. So, if you use numbers corresponding to the mid value here, m will come out to be approximately 10 to the power of 12. So, m is a big number. So, why we have put these typical values? Because once we know that m is a big number, we can make some simplifications. That is why we are using practical numbers. All right. Let us go to case 2. For r less than r t, we have seen r is equal to r t, r is what? Pumping rate, r t is threshold pumping rate. When the pumping rate is less than the threshold pumping rate, then if we use, so there are two solutions, if you see here, plus or minus. So, if we use the plus sign or minus sign, so we will see that one is for r less than r t and the other is for r greater than r t. So, this plus and minus what I am referring to here, when I say that n is negative if you take the negative sign, which is not a physical solution, and therefore, we choose the positive sign. Positive sign here refers to the plus minus there in the solution which I showed you just now. So, here the solution plus minus. So, you can take plus sign or minus sign. So, plus sign corresponds to the case when r is less than r t, and minus sign corresponds to the case when r is greater than r t. How do we know this? Because for r less than r t, if you take the negative sign, then the photon number will come out to be negative. A number cannot come out to be negative. Photons can be 0 or more than 0. you cannot have negative photon numbers. That is why we take the positive sign here. And if you take the positive sign, so now we have chosen the positive sign, then this is the expression. We can take this outside, this term. If we take this outside, then we will have this in the denominator here, no approximations made at. Now, we know that, so this m is here actually in the denominator, therefore, m is a very large number 10 to the power of 12 that we got, and r by RT is maybe 0.8, 0.9, it is less than 1, except when r is equal to RT, where we have a separate solution. This number is extremely small because m is in the denominator. So, except for r is equal to RT, the last term is very, very small, this term which is here, and therefore, we use 1 plus x to the power half. When x is much less than 1, we simply have this as, if you put any n, this is 1 plus nx or 1 plus x by 2. So, if we apply that, then note these two numbers cancel, and therefore, we have, using the binomial expansion, we get this plus this. So, these two numbers cancel, and what we are left is the last term, which is, and 1 2 outside here, 1 m outside here. So, 2 by m, m by 2 cancel each other, and we are left with only this term, and that is what we have written here, or n is given by the expression r by RT divided by 1 minus r by RT for r less than RT. So, we have now got solutions for r equal to RT and r less than RT. Now, we will see case 3 for r greater than RT. So, as before, to keep n positive, we must use now negative sign in that solution and rewrite equation 11. Please see the equation again, just so equation 11 here, all right here. So, we have to take now negative sign, and therefore, we rewrite the equation 11 here in this form. So, because we have now flipped the r by RT, earlier it was 1 minus r by RT. So, we have interchanged this, and the negative sign is being made positive. So, no approximations are made at, but we have simply put it in this form. So, let us solve it. So, again using the binomial expansion, please see that m is in the denominator. So, as before, so here m is in the denominator, and again this number is very small, and therefore, we can apply the binomial expansion, and therefore, this will be 1 plus half into this term, and that is what is written here. So, we get m by 2 into r by RT minus 1. You see there are 2 r by RTs here. So, r by RT minus 1 plus r by RT minus 1 into 1. So, that is why we got 2 times of this. So, we have 2 times r by RT minus 1 plus this term. Now, note that this term is really negligible because m is in the denominator and m is of the order of 10 to the power of 12. So, it is really negligible, but this is the complete expression, but we can even neglect that. In that case, we have only the first term. So, 2 by 2 cancels, and we have n nearly equal to m into r by RT minus 1 for r greater than RT. So, we have got the expression for n, analytical expression for n when the pumping rate is below threshold, equal to threshold, and greater than threshold pumping rate. Therefore, using equations 12, 14, 16 which give answers for n. So, 16 is here, the others are in the previous slides. We can plot the variation of the photon number n in the cavity around the threshold. That is, as the pumping rate or power goes from below threshold to above threshold, when it goes from below threshold to above threshold. And we have already discussed that the output power of the laser is proportional to n. And that is why variation of n will also tell us variation of output power, because they are proportional. All right, here we are. So, finally, variation of n as a function of r by r t, with we have assumed m is equal to 10 power 12. A different laser may have m is equal to 10 power 14 or m is equal to 10 power 10, but m is a large number. Now, what is shown here is r by r t values 0.5, 0.99 like this, and the corresponding n values here. So, at 0.5 r by r t is equal to 0.5, please see the expression 14. So, r by r t is equal to 0.5. If you substitute in this, so it is 0.5, 1 minus 0.5 and 0.5 in the numerator, and therefore, this is just 1. So, at 0.5 it is 1. If you put 0.9, you will get the photon number as 9. If you put 0.99, we are coming close. What is this? Is the graph r by r t versus photon number. This was our objective. Variation of photon number as we go from below threshold to above threshold, and this is the threshold. So, this is r by r t is equal to 1, means at threshold. So, you note that in these three expressions, when we substitute how the photon number changes at r by r t is equal to 1, that is at threshold pumping rate, this is the point 10 to the power of 6. You see here 10 to the power of 6. And next point, 1 point little bit above threshold, it is already 10 to the power of 9. So, this is the point. So, this is actually plotted. So, 10 to the power of 9, 10 to the power of 10. So, what we see is when we go from below threshold to above threshold, the photon number changes from orders of magnitude, that is no lasing to lasing. It changes by orders of magnitude. Very, very important. This illustrates the importance or real literal meaning of threshold, and threshold is a most important property of the laser. In fact, in many devices, when you make a laser, whether the device is lasing or not is determined by the existence of a threshold. So, you vary the pumping rate and then see the output, and if the output suddenly changes, for example, the slope changes, for example, in a particular material you are continuously increasing the current or pumping power, then initially, so what is shown here is intensity I, the output or P out output power from the device, then initially it may be going like this, almost like this, and then suddenly it changes like this. So, which means that this is the threshold point. So, this clearly indicates the onset of laser oscillations, and we have shown here that how the photon number changes drastically as we go from below threshold to above threshold. This illustrates really what this threshold is, which is a very important property of a laser. We will discuss one last aspect in the next class and then go to characteristics of the laser. Thank you.